Our next session, you're going to love this one, and this one goes for 2 minutes and 50, is possession, transition, and overload. And again, these can be done for players 7 and 8 years of age, all the way up to open men's and women. Enjoy this little short video. So the game that you can see, and I'll just explain a little bit about the setup. So we've got a player in black who's in this end zone here, and he's receiving the ball and sending the ball. Also, we've got another player in an end zone here as well, and the cones are marked up exactly the same. So again, we'll just give you a little bit of a setup here. We've got a player in black here, and he receives the ball and he sends the ball. So the idea of this game is we've got two teams, a team in red and a team in blue. The players in black who receive the ball on the outside of the pitch, if they receive it from a red, they give it back to a red. If they receive it from a blue, they send it back to a blue. The idea is we're looking for the teams in red and blue to work on possession, 1 and 2 touch passing, and we're looking for that transition from one side of the pitch to the next side of the pitch. We're not really encouraging in here too much individual or 1v1 skills. We're not really encouraging players to take players on. Now, the coach is currently talking to them about how we actually create space. So what he's looking for is when players pass a ball, they're looking for the player to move into a new space. And if a defender gets touched tight to them, then we're looking for that player to then look for a new space to move into. So again, the players in black are our out players on the outside, and if they receive from a red, they send it back to a red. If they receive from a blue, they send it back to a blue. Some of the things that we're looking for in here is 1 and 2 touch football, possession. We're looking for players to scan and have heads up, but also what we're looking for is fast movement of the ball from side to side. Let's see how this plays out over the next 60 seconds. So blues are starting. So good transition, the Blues are winning 2-0. So every time they get into an end zone, they get 1 point. So that's 3 points to Blue. Okay, so hopefully you got a little bit from that small session. So what I'm going to do is, again, I will drop back out into my whiteboard and I'm going to walk you through on this particular session and give you a little bit more detail. So one of the big things that we're looking for again is possession, transition, and then I think for me final part is that communication. Okay, now at the bottom down here you'll see that we've got our square set up. You can really mix up your dimensions for this. You could do it in a square, you could do it in a rectangle, you could put them in tight spaces or big spaces. Now, one of the things I would give you as a bit of advice, and this is probably the best bit of advice I could give you. If you're doing this in a really small, tight square or rectangle, whatever you set up, it's likely to be harder. So maybe if you've got a group of under 18s, you'll put them in a tighter space. If you've got a younger group, I would encourage you to put it in a larger space. So the players with less ability or age, a larger space, which means they've got more time on the ball and more space to get in. Players with more ability or are in an older age group, a smaller space. And what you find is by taking away space from players, it makes it so much harder. Now, regardless, then you're seeing in there was a little bit of success. there was a little bit of failure. And I think when I look at that, there was 40% success and 60% failure. And for me, this is great because this is exactly where we want for development. So they got 40% success, 60% failure. Now, some of the key things that we're looking for in this session is the obvious one, which should always be in there, is scanning. So we want to make sure if you're a red or a blue player, scanning is a no-negotiable. It's a non-negotiable. It should be happening, okay? The next thing that we should be looking for is when we receive and when we send the ball, we want a confident touch. And what does a confident touch mean? It means power on the ball, okay? The next thing we're looking for is playing the ball fast and moving fast, okay? And one of the big keys for this is communication. Now, who are we looking for communication from? Well, the players in black, because they're on the outside. They are a floating player. They play for both teams. Whoever's in possession, blue or red, they work for that team. So we want to hear communication from the black. Play me. I'm open. I'm free. Okay. Also, do we want the blacks just to stay where they are? No. We want them to have sides with movements. Same here. Sides with movements. Now, what I noticed in that video that I just showed you, the players on the outside weren't moving at all. So that could be a big thing that you can speak about to your players on the outside is movement. Players on the inside, okay, we're assuming that they're scanning and they've received the ball. We want everything on 1 or 2 touch max. Okay, and the best thing you can speak to your players about is ask them this one question. What moves faster, the ball or the player? And hopefully they answer the ball. And once players understand that, they will use the ball and move the ball fast and quickly because it's the best way. What we want to outlaw in this session, okay, one of the things we want to outlaw is no 1v1 and no dribbling with the ball. Because this is not the topic of the session. Remember, the topic is possession, transition and communication. We want to see those things happening. Now, if you've got an older age group or a stronger group, what you might do is, and this is where the fun gets to start happening, you can get your players to follow the passes. So what you might do is, you might set it up so it's blacks and blues versus reds. And you might just play for 1 minute. Now, if a blue plays the ball to the black, they've got to follow the pass out. And the black's got to dribble the ball in before they can make a pass to anyone on the inside, okay? And it can constantly keep rotating. And as a challenge again, you could then add in, if you wanted to, you could remove this player and add this black player into the middle. And we can add a goal here. And we can set a rule that the black and blues, if you get 5 consecutive passes, you're then allowed to shoot on goal. So there's a couple of ways you can up the ante on this and to make it not only more fun, but more challenging and giving them a goal to aim for, okay? So there's some of the things that I want you to really think about. So again, we want you to focus on scanning, receiving and sending, confident touch, which means power on the ball. Communication should be coming from all the players, but more so from the players on the outside. The players in the black bibs, the black players, they need to be communicating and asking for the ball and moving side to side, up and down, okay? Also, that final bit of advice, if you've got groups who are really successful in this and they're killing it, add in a smaller space, take away some of the space, or add in more players in the square. Players of less ability or younger age groups, give them a larger space, okay? Also, what you could do is, for the younger age groups and you're not seeing any success, you can actually say to the players in the middle, so if we've got the reds in possession, the black are only allowed to apply, the blues here are only allowed to apply pressure. They can intercept passes, they can try and block passes, but they can't tackle. So what that does is it still has pressure for the players in red, but it means they know they're not going to be tackled. And for the blues, they can add pressure to try and force a mistake. Now, indirectly, this actually teaches one of the best defending principles as well. And that principle is not to jump in and to stay on your feet and not look to try and win the ball other than forcing pressure and forcing errors. So hopefully you enjoyed that one on possession, transition and communication. And again, what we will do is for this particular one, this will be dropped in within our school platform. So what you'll find is when you go into the Premier League Coach to Coaches, they will populate there over the next couple of weeks.